Welcome to Driven, the Unscripted Success podcast, with your hosts, Mike Manino and Nariman Hamden, bringing you insights and stories on achieving personal, professional, and financial success.
Hey everybody, it's Michael Menino and welcome to Driven Unscripted Success podcast. Today on the podcast, we're interviewing professionals who share their experience with you, the audience, and how they got to where they're at today. And zooming from the beautiful islands of Naples, Florida, we have Craig Parker. He's been a world traveler, to say the least. He's in Naples for the last 8 years. 12 years before that was in Asia, and born and bred in New Zealand. You are what we call a world traveler. Thanks Thanks for coming to the show, Craig.
You're welcome.
So do me a quick favor.
You got my name wrong, by the way.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You call me Craig Parker.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, let's try that again. Craig Park.
Yeah, and I've been in Naples. I've been in the US like 25 years, and in Asia 12 years before that. So I didn't come from Asia to Naples. I mean, sort of Asia to anyway. It's fine.
So give me a breakdown of where you started and where you're at now. What was the number?
I left New Zealand 2 years out of university. Went to Asia for 12 years, and then I've been here for 24 years. Right.
In Naples for 8.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So it's 10 years in New York, 7 in San Diego, and then 8 in Naples.
Oh, Sandy, you've been everywhere.
Yeah.
Where have you been? Let's go that route.
I ran a company in South America. I was president for a company in Argentina and Buenos Aires. So I was down there every month, and we had a sales office in Sao Paulo, manufacturing in Brazil. I've got a map on the wall for my kids, and I've got and you got pins in it. And I think we've got, I don't know, there's about 65 countries. It's how many has Daddy and kids been to? So we're up to 65.
Congratulations, man. You sound like you're killing it.
Or it's killing me, man.
One or the other. They're both equally delicious.
Yeah, there you go.
What do you do for a living now? What's your mainstay? We talked about it a little bit earlier off air.
Yes, owner and president of Country Pet Naturals, which is a pet food brand.
And what do you guys do?
So we bring in product from New Zealand. So all our food and treats. So we do pet food, frozen pet food. We do raw freeze-dried treats. We bring it in from New Zealand because the quality is just phenomenal, better than anything else that's out there. No antibiotics, no hormones, just all pasture-raised, grass-fed, just full of goodness and humanely raised. And so that's our differentiator. So we bring that product in, import it, and sell it direct to consumer off our website, through e-commerce, Amazon, a little bit of Walmart, and increasingly through retail channels. And that's the natural grocery channel we're going after right now.
That's awesome. That is great. I mean, I could only imagine the food quality differential between New Zealand and the United States is probably greater than most people think.
Correct. New Zealand has one of the cleanest food chains in the world. If you go down there on a vacation, when you go through customs and immigration, the sniffer dogs are not sniffing for drugs as much as they're sniffing for food, because the sanctity of the food chain is it's sacrosanct, right? So I've been fined, for instance. I took some running shoes down there. I must have been for a run and got a little bit of mud on the soles. They check your luggage. I had a little bit of dirt on my soles, and they took my shoes away and brought them back all cleaned in a plastic bag and sterilized. And they said, that'll be $400, sir. So I had to hand over my credit card. Yeah, I got fined because, there's no foot and mouth disease in New Zealand. There's no pathogens down there, right? So it's an island nation, so they can protect it. So very, very stringent. Our raw material, our raw chicken, that goes into, and our frozen rolls are organic chicken, which is amazing. But our raw chicken, we've never once found salmonella in the raw chicken, let alone the processed chicken. Whereas here, man, there's salmonella everywhere in chicken. And I mean everywhere.
There is.
Estimated something like 20% of the chilled products in the chiller cabinet of a retail store is infected with salmonella. It's crazy. So, and the dogs eat the stuff, and they have all this energy. They get their mojo back. They got more playful. They got more vitality. chase rabbits. It's
Chase
on.
rabbits.
Oh yeah, it's on.
Mine's not chasing rabbits. I got a Frenchie. They're the rabbits about the size of the dog.
Maybe I've sent you some samples. We'll see. We'll test that theory, right?
There you go. I like that.
There you go.
So there's a lot of competition in the food industry for canine. You do canines and felines or just canines?
We do canines and felines. Yes,
Awesome.
we have cat food.
There's a lot of business professionals in that space. What sets you apart, and what comes easy to you that doesn't come, to them?
My background is the food industry in New Zealand. I'm a biochemist. I majored in nutrition. I worked for the largest dairy company in the world, which is a big, big player in New Zealand. So I'm very well connected down there. So we can source the best quality products. So what sets us apart is this whole New Zealand, where nature and natural is the norm. You grow up and everything's natural. The food's natural. It just bursts off the plate. And so what we do is we replicate that for the pets. And that's what sets us apart. We have some nutritional, some unique products that no one else has. Our signature products are venison and pure venison products.
Love me some venison.
Right? See how you lit up when I
love me some venison.
Right? So
yeah,
our frozen
the
rolls
mouth
are
watering
100%.
already.
Our frozen rolls, our frozen food is 91% venison meat, venison tripe, venison kidney, venison heart. All this good stuff. It's all pasture raised, grass fed. There's no antibiotics. There's no hormones. And the proof is in the pudding. The dogs go crazy for it. They chase the bowl around. So it's this goodness and this nutrition as wellness. We've got a lot of issues in the pet food chain with misinformation from the big guys. There's some serious junk that goes into pet food. But consumers, particularly younger millennials, Gen Z, they're getting more educated. So we're right in that sweet spot, and the humanization of pets is going our way as well. So people are wanting a better quality food and they're prepared to invest in it. Some of these kids, or these young millennials and Gen Zs, they're not having so many children that they're getting pets. This humanization, right? So that demographic trend plays to us. And plays away from, like I talked about earlier, the 50-pound bags of dog cereal. People are sick of that. And they're increasingly looking at, hey, what goes into my food? And we go, yeah, keep looking. Go. Look harder. We'll help you look.
What's the most detrimental thing you've seen in pet foods in the United States?
Ooh.
Good question.
Melamine from China. And it's how I got into the industry. A friend of mine owns a chain of retail stores doing pet food and pet feed in California, in Southern California. And we're sitting one day at the Berkshire Hathaway annual general meeting. I'll never forget it. And he turned to me. We're sitting there for forever watching Warren Buffett do his thing, which was just amazing. He said to me, "You're a food guy from New Zealand, right?" And I was not in the pet food space at this point. And I said, yeah. He said, and excuse my language, he said, "This Chinese shit is killing our dogs." And he had his own brand that he was getting manufactured out there. He said, can you find me a good quality New Zealand manufacturer of pet food for my brand? And so I did some research through my assistant. I had a consulting company at that point. I did some research, and then I connected him up with a manufacturer down there. And everything worked out well, and shipped product, and I got a commission check. Fantastic. A little bit of mailbox money. It was great. So went back to doing what I was doing. And then, but that was that. The whole melamine thing was, what happens is that melamine is a chemical that approximates for protein in what's called a Caldwell test, which is a test, you test food for protein level, right? And so melamine mimics protein. So what was happening from China, this Chinese food, the foods were all getting tainted with this, so the protein level would be higher. So then the farmers get paid, or the supplier of the raw material gets paid more money, right? But it's actually poison. And it was literally from dogs. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I think, from a US food perspective, that there's a lot, unfortunately, there's still diseased animals being rendered, and then it's being put into pet food. That's how the industry started back in the 50s. Right, and that's how the kibble started. Was like, how do you get rid of all the stuff, and then package it up and make it into kibble. And there's still an element of that, the quality levels are not very high. And I'll give you an example. We import our products from New Zealand, and it is unbelievable the quality standards we have to jump through to bring in a canned pet food. Oh my gosh, we've got to have heat penetration studies of the can, making sure it's all sterilized. Da 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 da. You produce it in the US, no problem.
They don't care.
There's no regulatory stuff needed. You just, yeah, sure, no problem. But imports, oh my gosh, you got to jump through so many hoops. So any consumers must, if it's imported, it's going to be we've got to get over a higher bar than locally, domestically manufactured products. Because anyone in their backyard can produce stuff.
What about the Chinese though?
Well, that's pretty much stopped now. That was about 10 years ago, 10 years ago. I understand that stopped. There is quite a bit of product coming in from Thailand and places like that. So, I would encourage all consumers to just look at where their protein source comes from and what's in it. Look at the ingredients, read your labels, ask questions of the manufacturers. Because these big guys, some of our competitors are doing $1 billion a year in sales. And they've got a massive, massive marketing campaigns. And some of it is directed towards persuasive advertising, right? Which is maybe not so factual.
Not so factual. I like the way you put that.
Well, got to respect our competitors, right? They're creating an opportunity for us.
There you go. There you go. If someone listening to this now wants to get better at what you do, what would you suggest and what tips would you give them?
If they would like to, what? Sorry, say that again.
Get better at what you're doing.
Get better at what
tips? What you're doing. So
you
in the pet industry. In the pet industry.
Oh, look. Understand where the food's coming from.
Just understand it.
Is very, very important. Understand the ingredients. Educate yourself. Look at the label. Ask questions at your pet store. They're usually pretty knowledgeable. Grocery stores, it's less so. So
the grocery store is not a great place to get information.
No, it's not. So do your research.
Awesome. What is one of the biggest challenges you had to overcome in your career?
That's a great question. I was fortunate in that things flowed very well for me early in my career. And I think probably the biggest challenge was understanding who I was and what my personal sweet spot was, not what other people thought it should be.
Right.
So family, parents, and the what is, I wouldn't say drilled into you, but how your environment, right? And I kind of had a coming to Jesus moment, which was predicted. I did some work on motivation, and I did this thing called an outstanding business leadership program when I was in the corporate world, and when I finished that program, they said, you appear to be a very type A driven person, and you want to jump through walls. You can be the chairman of this global multinational. You're the CEO of the current chairman of the company has said, this guy can be our first foreign-born chairman. But this person said to me, and she was an absolute professional. She said, you're going to come to a point in between 4 and 5 years, a crossroads, where you're going to find out the loneliest place on the planet is running a company, as the CEO. And what your motive is to have a loving family around you, and to have maybe a smaller company, maybe smaller, rather than a large corporate. And sure enough, about 4.5 years later, I had that moment, and I had a lot of stuff going on in my life, business-wise, and I took a step back, and I found out a lot about who I was through, sometimes it takes us a while to get things, particularly men. It takes a while to get through, right? And but I've learned over the years to really listen and understand and look at the white space of a picture and sort of I don't, the things that expire me, that don't inspire me. What is my sweet spot? How can I make the world a better place? And I think I'm in it right now. I just love what I'm doing. And I'm passionate about nutrition. I'm passionate about growing something rather than sort of maintaining something or incrementally growing something that's already large, $100 million, $1 billion, whatever. And I've been in those organizations. I've been at the top of those organizations, and it's really the most thing I cared about were the people, right? And making a positive impact.
Agreed. I know exactly what you're talking about, and it's I don't know what's more fulfilling, the business or making people better.
100%. Well, in our case, it's making pets better, right?
There you go.
If we focus on the wellness of each and every pet that we interact with, this business will be a roaring success. Rather than look at, okay, what's the profit margin here? Well, no, what does the dog need? What's going to really fulfill its life? Because you've got a happy dog, you've got a happy pet parent. Happy pet parent talks to another pet parent, right? So we're very, very focused on the wellness aspect. And I think if we can look after our consumers, then the rest flows.
Gotcha.
And our dogs are the consumers. Our dogs and cats are the consumers.
Yes, they are. And they win from the whole thing. Right. Win-win-win situation for everybody.
Correct. We get these incredible stories. Blood levels that are just gone through the roof in terms of the good stuff, getting rid of the bad stuff. Just a simple change to natural food. Right?
Detoxifying them.
Right?
Yeah. America's probably got the worst human food too, more or less dog food.
Well, the veterinary industry benefits from things that aren't doing so well, and the biggest owner of vet clinics in this country is Mars.
Really?
Yeah, they're rolling out vet clinics, right? And they're the biggest veterinary provider in the country. But they don't put their name on anything. Their pet food business is bigger than their candy business, Mars.
Really?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm learning so much from these podcasts.
They've gone down to New Zealand, for instance, and they've bought some of the biggest operators down there.
That kind of blew my mind. You know what I learned in my last podcast?
What's that?
What's the biggest gambling organization in the world? In the United States. What do you think?
I don't know.
The gentleman told me to go to the Catholic Church with all the bingos. If you were to take all the Catholic churches, but yeah, I know. That kind of blew my mind. I would have been never on the list. But if you think about it, the bingo nights, and a couple of churches get together and have $1 million bingo night, like they all do it through video, and then someone wins $1 million. But it's the biggest guy. Wow. It makes sense. I haven't checked it out. I don't want to hear the comments. I'm here. I'm telling you what my last podcaster said.
I love it.
So things are going pretty good for you in your business. Is looking forward to the future. Wondering how you create passive income. What is your strategy, and what would you like to share on that?
I've had streams of passive income in the past. Right now, I've been all in on my company to maintain the highest equity level I can. So going forward, we need to scale the company. We need to scale the business for me to get that passive income. But passive income is very important, particularly for entrepreneurs, if they can afford it, right, or can create that, because it gives them some modicum of comfort. If things go a little bit down, when because things happen when
things go up and things go down.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
we all know that.
I got some good friends in the corporate world, and sometimes I think, oh, it'll be good to get that salary, and then other days I go, I don't want that crap. Right?
I have a friend of mine that's worked for a company 27 years, and he just got let go, and I was like, oh, that's got to hurt.
Yeah. Then what do you do, right?
Then he's going to get another job. He's a brilliant guy, so I'm not really worried about him. Mm-hmm. Wrapping up the interview, what plans do you have? What's in the works for the next 6 to 12 months?
Really scaling the business. We've got We just completed our seed round. And so now we can put some needed infrastructure in place. We can really go after some programs that have been in the hopper. When you're in these businesses, you've got to phase it, right? You're different seasons. So thank goodness we've come out of that season and we've got some needed capital. So then we can get to the next phase. So it's really about building and scaling this business, building out the infrastructure. And really positioning ourselves for the future and our next round, of financing, so we can move forward. We've got some exciting plans and doing things a little differently, which we have to. We've got to go after the fresh pets and the farmers' dogs of this world, which are our competitors, and frankly we're better products than them. We've got to do things differently because we're not going to outspend them. So
you're not going to outspend them.
A bit of guerrilla warfare and some sniper fire, and I'm sure we'll do really well. So that's the exciting bit, right? Having a crack at these guys.
I love your military analogies. Sniper fire and guerrilla warfare. That is. I'm going to steal that one from you. I'm going to be using that in my industry.
Yeah, well, that was a previous life as well. Another company I was involved in that stuff. So
nice.
Yeah.
Well, if people want to get in touch with you, how would they do that, Craig?
They can reach out to me on LinkedIn. They can reach out on through Country Pet, Craig at countrypet.com. Usual way. Awesome. LinkedIn is Craig R. Park.
Craig R. Park.
Yep.
Sounds good. Hey, listen, thanks a lot for being on the show, sharing your insights, and we do appreciate it. And if anybody would like to contact him, this guy knows a little bit more about animal food than I've ever seen. And thank you for bringing the good stuff to our market. We do appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
All right. Well, let's everybody else go. Thank you for your time.
Thanks for listening to Driven, the Unscripted Success Podcast. Want to share your story? Apply to be a guest at drivensuccesspodcast.com/guest.